Coming up on the Hilton Head News, former Governor Mark Sanford tells us why he's decided to run in the 1st Congressional District, a seat he's held 3 times in the past. Also ahead, a cross-country campaign to encourage people and stores to buy American. They make a stop in our area. Stand by, Hilton Head News is next. Welcome to the Hilton Head News. I'm McNair. There are 19 candidates running for the 1st District congressional seat in South Carolina. 3 are Democrats and 16 are Republicans. One of those candidates, former Governor Mark Sanford, was on the island Monday. He spoke to the Hilton Head Island First Monday Republican Lunch Group. In just a few minutes, we'll talk with the former governor about why he's decided to run and why voters should choose him over the other candidates in that crowded field. Well, if you went to Walmart last week on Hilton Head Island, you may have noticed a fire truck in the parking lot with signs encouraging people to buy products made in America. That message is from Aaron Laurel, who lost his job in California several months ago. Laurel bought this fire truck and decided to take it and his message across the country, along with the help of his friend Tim Morris. Laurel is parking his truck at big box stores like Walmart because he'd like to see them set up what he calls Patriot Zones, so shoppers can go to special areas of the stores and know that they're buying American-made products.
By creating a Patriot Zone, we're not asking the stores to take away any of the products they currently offer. We're just asking them to make it convenient for shoppers to go in, give a look around the Patriot Zone, or whatever they want to call it, Made in the USA Zone, America Zone, and get things that are on their list, or even, maybe just give them the option. They might say, hey, this is a couple dollars more than I'd like to spend and I'll shop elsewhere for it, but at least the option is back there for the American public.
Aaron and Tim's next scheduled stop after Hilton Head Island, Savannah. Well, the month-long Hilton Head Island Gullah celebration is officially underway. On Friday night, there was an opening reception at the Walter Greer Art Gallery with a preview of original artwork by leading Gullah artists from the Low Country. The Hilton Head Island Gullah celebration was established in 1996. Charles Young, executive director of this year's Gullah celebration, was pleased with the turnout at the Walter Greer Art Gallery.
I am feeling very good and enthusiastic about the whole thing. It took us a while to plan it, and it just gives me a thrill to my heart to see this night unfold.
The following day, the Taste of Gullah event was held at the Arts Center of Coastal Carolina. Close to 400 people attended. Food served included authentic Gullah dishes such as original island gumbo and geechee conch stew, as well as classic barbecue ribs, fried fish, and chicken. More events are ahead this month, and they include the Arts, Crafts, and Food Expo, which is held during President's Day weekend at Honeyhorn. For more information, go to gullahcelebration.com. There was plenty of applause at St. Luke's Church Saturday for the contestants of the Youth Concerto competition, sponsored by the Hilton Head Symphony Orchestra. Maura Sean Scanlon, a 17-year-old senior at the University of North Carolina School of the Arts, was one of 9 young musicians from the Southeast who performed at the event. Scanlon began playing the violin at the age of 3. The Hilton Head Symphony Orchestra has sponsored a youth concerto competition since the year 2000. The event is designed to give young musicians an opportunity to perform standard orchestral repertoire from memory before an audience. A 9 a.m. chilly start didn't keep these runners and walkers from the first annual Love Run held at the Coastal Discovery Museum. On Saturday, runners and walkers took to the 5K course, which was a double loop around the grounds of Honeyhorn. It made for a scenic walk or a run in the area. Proceeds from that event will go to the Island Rec Scholarship Fund. Here's what's happening around the region. State Department of Revenue officials think that it will probably cost their agency $300,000 to $400,000 more this year to process state tax returns. That's because while they insist it's safe to e-file, state tax returns. It's anticipated that taxpayers concerned about last fall's cyber hacking will choose to submit paper files instead. The agency thinks it will need an additional 25 part-time workers to key in information. Officials also say more money will be spent on additional postage, paper, and printing of correspondence. Federal nuclear regulators say Duke Energy could face civil penalties for failing to upgrade its methods on fighting fires at the Oconee nuclear station. The Greenville News reports that federal officials have allowed the nuclear power plant to operate for several years under temporary practices to fight blazes. In exchange, Duke Energy agreed to create a pilot program to change how the country's nuclear reactors protect against fires. Duke Energy told the Nuclear Regulatory Commission that it underestimated the complexity of that project, but the commission has refused the utility's request for more time. Duke Energy will request a hearing to further explain the situation. Federal officials say that hearing will likely take place in the next month. When we return, we'll talk with one of the 19 candidates running for the 1st congressional district seat here in South Carolina. Former Governor Mark Sanford is next.
The Hilton Head Humane Association is dedicated to providing a safe haven for cats and dogs, caring for 2,500 abandoned, injured, and abused animals in the past year alone. Visit WHHHumane.org to see the current pets in need of forever homes, including this Pet of the Month. Plus, learn about upcoming adoption events and even donate online. You can also find them on Facebook, plus visit in person from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. daily. Donate, adopt, volunteer, and make a difference at the Hilton Head Humane Association.
As we mentioned earlier in the show, former Governor Mark Sanford is on Hilton Head Island Monday for a Republican luncheon. He is a candidate for the 1st congressional district seat, and he joins us on the Hilton Head News. Governor Sanford, thank you for coming in.
My pleasure.
I want to ask you, given the way your second term as governor ended, a lot of people, including you, have said that your days in politics were over. What's changed?
Well, the phone lines lit up, I guess is the short answer. You know, a lot of folks called and said, Mark, you really ought to look at this. Their point was, you know, Mark, here's a chance to take what you learned in Congress, what you learned in the governorship, what you learned on your way up, what you learned on your way down, and apply it to what is arguably the great debate of our civilization, which is how do we get our financial house in order up in Washington, D.C. It's something I've long believed in. It's something I believe in. I didn't see this opportunity coming along to maybe have a second chance at making a difference in that debate. Now that it's here, though, I'm pushing ahead, and we'll see what happens.
You're here, as I mentioned, for that Republican luncheon. The mayor of Hilton Head Island, Drew Laughlin, and also Mayor Lisa Sulka of Bluffton have already said they endorse State Representative Andy Patrick, who lives here on Hilton Head Island. Why should Islanders vote for you instead?
Well, I mean, again, I completely understand the local notion of local, you know, folks that are more, you know, elected level, watching out for somebody who's elected from the same neck of the woods. I completely respect and understand that. But what I've heard consistently from folks in Beaufort County, I grew up in northern Beaufort County, is that, you know, Mark, you know, you have a remarkably consistent voice in terms of trying to bring sanity to government in the way that it operates and trying to have it operate sanely from the standpoint of what it spends. I was rated #1 in the entire United States Congress in votes to limit federal spending and federal taxation by National Taxpayers Union, by Citizens Against Government Waste, was rated as the financially most conservative governor in the United States of America. So what I've heard in terms of whether it's islanders or folks that are off the island is that, Mark, we want to see that kind of financial discipline brought back to Washington, D.C., the kind of voice that you advocated for in years past.
There seems to be such gridlock, though, with Congress and such polarization between the two parties. Are you willing to reach across the aisle? Do you think it's even possible for Republicans and Democrats to work together?
If they don't, we're in real trouble. I mean, we really are at a tipping point as a civilization, and unless we get it right, there are going to be incredible consequences in terms of the value of the dollar, in terms of our savings, in terms of, frankly, the opportunities that have historically been provided for Americans and frankly, the next generation to come. So it's one of those where if we don't, we will see profound problems. I would also say I have a history of being able to do that when I was governor. We saw the first cut to the marginal income tax rate, the largest recurring tax cut in South Carolina history. You know, a whole host of changes that were brought about because we worked with folks on both sides of the aisle.
What is your most important message that you want to get out to voters?
Quite simply that, you know, if you look at where I've come from for a long time, I was predicting that this day would come, that this tipping point that we now face as a civilization, wherein 40 cents of every dollar is in essence being borrowed, which is going to again have incredibly harmful consequences if not turned around. And so what I would ask folks to look at and remember is the fact that not only have I pointed in that direction, but I've consistently tried to do something about that for a very long time and would very much like to represent that viewpoint again in Washington.
And the answers are what to solving this problem?
There are no easy answers. I mean, I think that the answers are, you know, for instance, in a willingness to take a stand. Too often people want to be in the comfortable middle in the world of politics. I was the first governor in the United States of America to turn back stimulus funds because I didn't believe that a problem with too much debt could be solved with yet more debt. That was a lonely stand at the time, but again, that willingness to make a stand, I think, is part of what's going to be key. The other, as we just mentioned, is that larger notion of looking for ways of working together. You combine those two things with, again, a very consistent track record in pushing that direction, and I think you have a formula for change.
Well, former Governor Mark Sanford, we appreciate your time and joining us here on the Hilton Head News, and we hope to speak with you again before that election in March.
Well, look forward to it. Thanks.
Thank you. Joining me now from the Hilton Head Sun, BJ Frazier. Great to have you here. BJ, how you doing?
I'm wonderful, Allie.
Great. I know you've got some information with regards to burning on Hilton Head Island. Tell us about that, if you would.
Sure. Chief LaVarn Lucas has proposed to the town safety committee that there be a ban on all open burning throughout the town. Right now, there are areas where you're allowed to burn, and pretty much the law is being ignored anyway. So what he wants to do is make it official that you can't burn anywhere in town for safety issues, wildfires, and also, you know, smoke inhalation and so forth. And the problem is that some of the native islanders, it's deeply ingrained that they burn, and some can't afford to have the yard waste taken away or throw it away. So there's going to be a little bit of controversy about it, but it probably is the right thing to do.
It's not going to affect things like campfires or oyster roast, right?
Oh, you can't touch oyster roast, but no, those recreational fires will be allowed in fire pits and so forth.
You're going to tell us now about a scam that's been targeting the area in a particular segment of our population. Tell me about that.
Yeah, sure. The Hispanic community has been targeted by swindlers who basically call and take advantage of the Hispanics that are perhaps a little bit, don't have great command of the language and are, you know, a little leery of authorities and so forth. And they're saying, you know, you owe us Palmetto Electric $300 or whatever, and the Hispanic community goes out and pays the non-existent bill, and of course it is a scam. And so Palmetto Electric's working with the South Carolina Secretary of State to try and to stop this. And if you do get a call, please call Palmetto Electric, and because they never call and ask for money. But if you get one, alert them so they can, you know, track down these people.
Right, because I'm assuming they're asking for money in payment of a credit card number, correct?
That's right, exactly.
Yeah, so you don't want to be giving that out over the phone. Hey, some good news for seniors on the island, right?
Yes, Share Senior Center, which is now located down by the Sea Pine Circle, is going to be moving to Mid-Island into the Sheriff's office and redoing a 3,000 square foot wing. That's going to cost about $140,000 for the renovation, but what it's going to mean is more accessibility because many of the clients live in that area and it's close to biking trails and walking trails and so forth. So it would be a great move, and hopefully they'll have it done this year.
Sounds great. As always, great information. BJ Frazier of the Hilton Head Sun, thank you so much.
Thank you, Allie.
Entrepreneurs in the Low Country and on Hilton Head Island, do we have the right environment to encourage their business, and do they help the area? We recently talked to Charlie Clark, who had some thoughts on that. What about it? What kind of environment or climate is there in the Low Country for entrepreneurship?
You know, the Low Country has really become a great climate for entrepreneurship now with technology the way it is, when business can really be conducted just about any place in the country. And I think people are coming around in terms of, you know, business and economics, in terms of economic development, really pointing out that fact to folks that, you know, your business can go anywhere. And when you consider that 51% of America's businesses are small businesses, a lot of people, the misnomer is that large corporations make up the majority of the U.S. workforce, and that's actually not the case. When it comes to the Low Country, I think what's so neat about it is the fact that it is entirely, really a very prominent place for small businesses. With the Chamber's 1,600 members, fully 80% of those are small businesses.
Wow, that's obviously a big majority then of members that you would consider small business. Or I mean, is small business and entrepreneurship kind of interchangeable? Or
those two definitely go hand in hand, Allie. I mean, that is definitely, I think, one of the big success stories for entrepreneurship and small business in the Low Country really is the Don Ryan Center for Innovation that's happening in Bluffton right now. They're just about to graduate their sort of first class, so to speak. And what a great opportunity for small businesses. It's an incubator where businesses can get really the help that they need in terms of banking, in terms of advertising, in a very, very conducive environment. And it's really helping businesses grow. We're seeing that. Plus, there's so many opportunities in the Low Country, and small businesses can take advantage of a lot of those opportunities. Business Expo is coming around the bend. That's one of the largest networking events. And when it comes down to business, networking is really what it's all about. We're going to be doing something pretty interesting, and I think will be of great interest to small businesses this year. We're going to do, along the lines of speed dating, we're going to be doing a speed networking event where small businesses can really get one-on-one and get to know a lot of different businesses and tell their story about business, as well as, social media, especially for small businesses, are so critical. I mean, it's one of the best, least expensive ways to get your message out there, and we'll be having what we call a social media bar, where you'll be able to walk up, get information, one-on-one advice regarding your small business and social media.
I think that sounds like a great idea. Can you speak to the impact that entrepreneurship has or entrepreneurs have on the Low Country?
Well, as I mentioned earlier, it really is the backbone of the U.S. economy, and that counts for our area as well. I think, as we said, a big misnomer is that corporations make up the largest chunk of American business and the American workforce, and that's actually not the case. Entrepreneurship looks to be optimistic here in the coming year as we recover from this economy and come out of the defrost, so to speak, of our economic recovery. You're going to see small business numbers start to grow.
Well, Charlie Clark, Vice President of Communications for the Hilton Head Island Bluffton Chamber of Commerce, as always, thanks for joining us with some great information here on the Hilton Head News. Our thanks to Charlie Clark. When we come back, we'll have the Daufuskie Report here on the Hilton Head News and also a look at where to go for entertainment on Hilton Head Island. Stay right there.
Beaufort Town Center, the perfect place to live, work, play, and shop. Uniquely located on Boundary Street, Beaufort Town Center is adjacent to city and county government buildings at the entrance of Beaufort's historic district. This new urban town center seamlessly blends lodging, office space, retail, restaurant, and residential sites with pristine views of the Intercoastal Waterway. Let the executives at Beaufort Town Center assist you with any of your real estate and leasing needs. Call today at 843-521-9000.
It is time for the Daufuskie Report here on the Hilton Head News, and to deliver that to us is Mary Amonitti. Great to see you, Mary.
It's great to be back. Thank you for having me.
Well, there was a big important meeting over on Daufuskie last Friday. You had Dwayne Parrish there from the State Department of Parks, Recreation, and Tourism. Tell me about that.
Well, the Daufuskie Island community really scored a victory on Friday, along with the residents there on Daufuskie Island. They had been awaiting a development of a leisure park over on Daufuskie Island for land that the county had purchased over 20 years ago. So Mr. Parrish came down from the state along with some of his colleagues, and we also had representation from Beaufort County there as well to talk about this park, this passive park being developed.
And what kind of interest is there from people there? What kind of feedback did you get from Dwayne Parrish at that meeting?
Well, there's a lot of interest of people that live there. And the one thing that we've been trying to do is to educate the individuals as to what is happening. The Friends of the Historic District Park, who rediscovered the protected park land and brought it to the attention of the Recreational Land Trust, which granted Beaufort County the money 20 years ago. And what they did not do, Beaufort County did not do, was to have public hearings and address this issue that that land park could not be developed if there was going to be any zoning changes. And the waste management collection site has been one of the problems and the issues there. But I think that now is going to be worked out with the county and also the Friends of the Park.
Well, I know you're going to keep us updated as things progress there. Palmetto Trust for Historic Preservation has developed the Daufuskie Endangered Places program. There's some news there too, right?
Absolutely. They received the grant for $150,000 to lease and repair these homes that are owned by the islanders, the native islanders to Daufuskie Island. The money will be used to repair the property, not to take it away from the residents. And what will happen is the residents will release that land to the trust so that this can be done. And before anything is ever done with that property, turned back over to the residents, they are going to come up with the way of how they can refurbish, replace that money so that they can go on and develop other areas there as well.
Well, Mary Amonitti with the Daufuskie Report. We appreciate your time here on the Hilton Head News. Thanks so much. Here on Hilton Head News to tell us where to go on Hilton Head Island for entertainment is Nancy Watts. Hi, Nancy.
Hi there, Allie. How are you doing?
Great, thank you. I know you've got some ideas for musical entertainment for us. First up.
It's going to be a good week, a good weekend, and a good month. We've got the Shore Notes that will be performing on the 9th of February, and that will be at the Performing Arts Center of where the schools are.
Oh, that sounds great, at Hilton Head High School. And they're a great a cappella group. I know they've got a couple other additional performers that they're bringing in to perform with them, so we're looking forward to that. What about the Hilton Head Symphony Orchestra? What's up next for them?
Oh, they will be performing also, I think it's next Monday night.
It is the 11th, you're right.
Yes, it is. And they will, I guess the most favorite thing will be, and everybody loves, the Vivaldi's Four Seasons, spring, summer, winter, and fall. And each one of those concerti have absolutely marvelous opportunities for musicians, and so they'll be just strutting their stuff that night.
It sounds great, and I believe they're going to have some performers that were with the Sphinx competition out of Detroit, Michigan. It's a competition for minority musicians to recognize their talents, and some of those musicians are going to be coming, so we're really looking forward to that. What about the Arts Center of Coastal Carolina?
They've got all kinds of things going on. Oh, well, wait, first it's I Hate Hamlet, and it's already going on. You'll love that. It's going to be a hilarious farce, really, and you'll enjoy that. Also, they will be offering some great opportunities for people who like to do handiwork. They've got bookbinding, they've got other kinds of arts and crafts programs going on this whole month.
That's wonderful, and it's Gullah Celebration Month. I know the Walter Greer Art Gallery's got some artwork that portraying the whole Gullah culture. That's kind of neat too.
Yes, they do. And on top of that, beside there, the Sea Pines Resort will be presenting LaVon Stevens, who will be performing on February the 10th. Then Arts, Crafts, and Food on February the 16th outside, and hopefully it will be outside because it'll be at Honeyhorn, and that will be such a nice day to enjoy that.
That sounds great, and actually I think it's going to be 2 days, so we're looking forward to that. And as always, Nancy Watts, some great ideas for us for entertainment here on Hilton Head Island. Thanks so much.
Yes, ma'am.
And thank you for watching this edition of the Hilton Head News. I'm Allie McNair. We'll see you the next time.